Welcome to this little series on building your own fly rod. I want to show you how easy it can be and how with a little care you can end up with a self-built premium fly rod to be proud of. The question that many may ask is, why build your own fly rod? For me, there are two main reasons. Firstly, the components to build a premium fly rod cost a fraction of a studio-built rod. Secondly, the creative fun along similar lines to tying your own flies. If the feeling of catching a fish on a self-tied fly is particularly satisfying, what about the feeling of catching a fish on a self-tied fly with a self-built rod? The rod that I'll be building in this series is from an epic ready-to-wrap fly rod kit. These kits make it so easy for a beginner and include everything needed to build the rod, minus a couple of basics. I would advise a couple of extra items though, and I'll get into those in a bit. Epic fly rods are made by Swift Fly Fishing in New Zealand and can be ordered directly from the company to be shipped worldwide. The company is probably best known for their fiberglass rods, but they also make top-notch carbon rods, and that's what I'll be building here. Specifically, a 6-piece, 8-foot 5-weight for my backpacking adventures. Now, this will actually be my 5th ready-to-wrap fly rod build, and hopefully I'll be able to pass along some of what I've learnt along the way. So let's have a look at what's in the box. A couple of bits about the products and company and the ferrule system. Branded packaging, contents, which says we've got our blank, a Western cork grip, black reel seat, fiberglass tube, rod sock, guide set and winding check, thread white and black, glue kit, Chinograph pencil, build book, cleaning cloth, stickers and decals, warranty information, graphene decals, wrapping stands, and packed by Adam. So here we have our beautiful floor grade cork handle. Reel seat in here with the butt. Have our blank in nice branded, very small, beautiful rod tube. With another sticker or two. We'll get that out in a minute. There's some instructions on how to put together the rod turning stands. Something in here. Oh, it was brushes. So we've got all of our winding check, guides, different resins, so rod finish, thread finish and epoxy resin, a couple of mixing beakers, Chinograph pencil, a few spatulas for scooping out epoxy, and some mixing sticks, our white and black thread. Yep, that's about the lot in there. There were these. There is more stuff about Epic Rod Building Kit Guarantee. This is the build book. So this contains all the information you need on doing the build. Really, really helpful. And the final bit is these rod stands, which will turn the box into a building kit. Like so. You can put your rod sections in here. So this can be used for applying the wraps. I don't use it for applying finish and drying the rod, but we'll get to that in a minute. Ooh. More things. So there's a rod cleaning cloth. And what's this? Tape. Okay. So before, the branding has always been printed on the blank, but this time maybe we need to tape it on. Let's have a little look. So it's a 6-piece rod. Let's take out the butt section first. Indeed, we are going to need to add stickers. That'd be interesting to see how that works. That'll be a first. Beautiful graphene blank. So, and well, it's interesting. So we're going to need to adjust this box a bit because these sections are so short that normally you would want your rod to sit a bit over each end. But we're just going to tape these a bit closer together. No big deal. So as I mentioned before, some additional items will be required and a few more are recommended. Firstly, we'll need some denatured alcohol and cleaning rags for general cleanup and preparing the fly rod blank. Some sandpaper or a Scotch-Brite pad will be needed to prepare the reel seat and grip area for glue up. A tape measure or measuring stick will be needed to measure and mark out the guide spacings. The guides will be temporarily held in place with masking tape before the silk wraps are added. As far as the silk thread wraps go, we'll need something to hold tension on the thread while we're putting the wraps on the rod. The best thing here is a fly tying bobbin holder. You could, in theory, put the thread through a closed book to hold tension, but I find this far preferable. We'll also need to build up an arbor under the reel seat, and for this a couple of options are fiberglass drywall tape and the masking tape again. I really like to use the fiberglass tape for my fiberglass rods out of some kind of OCD reasoning. I also like the pure synthetic glass fiber product within the rod. For this build though, I will be using the masking tape since it's more readily available and we're using it for other parts of the build anyway. So now let's look at my recommended additions. Firstly, we have Callipers. These are great for measuring internal and external diameters, such as when arbor building. They can also be used to measure the wraps to keep them even. Next here, this is really more of an essential item, but we have either or both of scissors and razor blades. These can be cutting masking tape, cutting thread, and the razor blades mostly for cleaning up fuzzies and trimming the ends of the threads dead level. Couple of items here to do with epoxy. and rod finish, we have a lighter and a straw. Lighters can be used to apply heat to the epoxy to get rid of air bubbles, and a straw similarly can be used to point at an air bubble to pop it. A few extra mixers, stirrers, measuring things. These are actually from food skewers, just little wooden food skewers that could be used to scoop out epoxy or stir. So they're useful. Q-tips. Q-tips are great for cleanup. You can dip them in the denatured alcohol and clean up tiny little spaces all over the place, really. We'll get into that throughout the build. Some cocktail sticks. Cocktail sticks can again be used for cleanup. They can also be used for getting a bit of glue inside the tip top for gluing that on. So fine spreading of glue and fine cleanup. Put those down, and we have a syringe. There were 2 syringes in the kit, but they are for mixing hardener and resin. This I will use to measure out the denatured alcohol to thin the resin. We have a load of measuring cups. Well, actually they'll be used as mixing cups. Some extra brushes are always useful in case we have any issues or need to remix or do more brush work or whatever happens with the 3 brushes, we've got spares. Then some aluminium containers. These are really good for pouring out your rod finish into here, and it'll have a longer open time and the bubbles will burst better when they're poured in here. So yeah, aluminium these are some sort of pie containers. Got a whole load of those. The final thing, which is really important, I think, and this is a rod drying motor and set of stands. You can actually order a ready-made motor and stands directly from Swift Fly Fishing, which is a great solution. This I built from stuff I had lying around, plus a €5 microwave motor that I ordered online, and it does the job. So I just slot the rod in here, lay it out across the stands at whatever distance I need them, and this will help immensely for both applying rod finish to the wraps and making sure that the rod dries with an even shape of the resin on the wraps. Alternatively, you need to manually turn the rod every, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, a quarter turn, to make sure that this finish will be even, but this makes it much easier. So now that we've got everything that we need, in the next video it's time to start building. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.